Now, I said that coming up in this hour, I would get into the situation with Jesse Ventura's TV show. Now that some of it has come out in the news, I can talk about it without violating the confidence that I've been brought into with people. Of course, I can't tell you the full story, but I can tell you part of it. I talked to the governor this morning. He is going to be coming on next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. He's not doing any other media, but he's going to talk about a host of issues here next week. So let me go ahead and cover that briefly, and then I'll get into WikiLeaks and the economy and some other important issues with the TSA. A huge new development on that front. But before I go any further, they've had a lot of dirty tricks run against the producers of the last year's 8-part series, but especially this year. And again, they don't want me to get into a lot of it because they're trying to gauge it and figure out what they're going to do. But the police state episode, they would have normally aired it 5 or 6 more times in the last 3 weeks since it aired November 12th. But it hasn't aired. All the other episodes have aired over and over again in marathons because it's one of the most popular shows on True TV. Now, the episodes cost over $200,000 a piece to produce. And again, they've shelved the police state FEMA camp special, which is very well documented with the threat fusion centers, the Rex 84, the admission that the government is preparing for civil unrest. I mean, that's all over the news now, that they want to use the military for civil unrest. And the bill was introduced and co-sponsored by Representative Steve Cohen and others that Ventura went and interviewed. And Cohen makes a fool out of himself at the end of the show and says, oh, you believe in little green men and machines from Mars. And Ventura says, well, here's the bill. And he goes, oh, I remember that now. It's for emergencies. But Ventura goes, well, it says for whatever reasons Homeland Security deems fit. And in the context of that hour-long show, this was groundbreaking. I mean, it really shows you how they're rolling the camps out. And Cohen sent letters to Time Warner. He sent letters to the subdivision, True TV. He sicked the ADL behind the scenes 3 weeks ago on them with, well, I'm just going to leave it at that. There was other pressure from government quarters, but I'm not at liberty to get into all of that. I can talk about the congressman now. Some fools on the internet are like, oh, they probably pulled this show to hype it. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what they want to do. They pay for a show, it gets top ratings, and then they never air it again. No, that's not what's going on. And so now there needs to be public pressure on this. For 2-3 weeks, people have noticed that it's not airing. If you go look at the code on the Conspiracy Theory website on True TV, you can still see where the episode is there with the text and the video clips. It's just hidden. Somebody's being a little bit sloppy over there. But now, because Cohen yesterday on December 7th put out a op-ed piece in The Hill newspaper, a roll call, the official paper that serves Congress in Capitol Hill, and he calls Ventura a liar in here, but doesn't give any evidence. And, I can tell you he's scared because he looked like a deer in the headlights and looked foolish in that piece by saying, oh, they're happy children and, all of this, and then saying, well, that's not a FEMA camp, that's a place for immigrants. Well, we say that in the piece and show the Rex 84 that they admit, and the Houston Chronicle, that these FEMA camp contracts are for illegals but also for citizens. And then we show the bill. And we show these designated sectors to expand the camps. I mean, it's spot on, it's hardcore, and he doesn't get into any specifics in this article. He just says how dangerous it is to have this type of media. He's a big ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center type guy, always out there pushing hate laws and things to restrict free speech. And you see this big push by the FCC commissioner, the commissar, to restrict free speech and openly announcing it. And you see Lieberman bragging that he called Amazon.com and told them to shut down WikiLeaks' link on their site where they were selling some products. I mean, it's just incredible. Or I guess they had their servers with Amazon.com. So really scary that this is going on. And Representative Steve Cohen, calling Ventura a liar in here really makes me angry because I did a lot of the research for the piece. It's spot on. And it's incredible that he would try to deny the bill existed and laugh at Ventura and say, oh, space aliens. And then Ventura gives him the bill and he goes, oh, I do remember that now. I mean, it's the biggest Perry Mason moment. If this guy looks like Sylvester caught with Tweety Bird in his mouth with feathers sticking out, is the only way to describe it. And the other congressman hides, and then the aide comes out and says, yeah, we do have concerns about it. I mean, I just put a video on prisonplanet.tv a month ago or so. I sent Rob Dew and Jason Douglas to Chicago where they were practicing rounding up citizens and putting them in the sports stadium with the military. And you can't make this up. Polish and Czech Republic troops with U.S. role players and admitting on the news it's for America. You can't make up the telescreens going in Walmart and the government sticking their hands down your pants. You can't make up all the urban warfare drills. You can't make up the Brigade Homeland. And in Tennessee, where this guy's based, it's in Police State 4, Rise of FEMA. Well, that film is so important. We have the state rep on, the governor's in the news saying, we've got Homeland Security military checkpoints searching everybody. This is illegal. Stop it. And Homeland Security said, we don't care, and did it. You've got a huge takeover of our society, and nobody can deny it. And Ventura powerfully at the end of that piece says, they said it couldn't happen here. Well, it already has. Look, it's real. And that episode was powerful. So was the JFK one. And, Cohen is just amazing. I mean, he behind the scenes puts pressure along with others. It gets pulled, and then people notice it's happened. No doubt he's got more heat. So he runs around on this crusade now in the article. Cohen, we must hold the media accountable. I bet you didn't mind the media telling us there were WMDs in Iraq or that we got to take the H1N1 shot. I mean, it's just incredible. And it's in the Commercial Appeal. It's in a bunch of other newspapers. Representative Steve Cohen goes to the mat with TV's Ventura over conspiracy theory. Time Warner's response was, we believe most viewers accept conspiracy theory for what it is, a series that expresses different views on conspiracies. And they put that conspiracy name on it so they can say, well, we're just looking at conspiracies. Look, their last episode confirms there's uranium and fluoride being put in the water. I mean, you see half the women with their hair falling out, people getting Alzheimer's at 25, cancer exploding. They estimate by 2020, half the population is going to have diabetes. This isn't funny, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if Cohen is fully aware of, what that bill would really do, but he certainly was caught red-handed trying to deny it. And so he's freaked out, he's angry, and now in America, you need to know that if you're not MSNBC and totally paid off by bailout money, and you're True TV, you just get the government coming down on you, so television programs go off the air while we have this backdrop of all these people in Congress, Jay Rockefeller and the others, running around openly saying shut down the alternative media. Nobody should be able to criticize the government. I mean, he talks about it in here. Oh, the media shouldn't be, creating fear of the government. Heaven forbid we act like George Washington. The FCC commissioner comes out and says, the freedom we've had in the media is an aberration, and the government's got to decide what can go on air. I mean, this is Pravda. This is the Soviet Union if they have their way. I am proud of that episode. I'm proud of the global warming episode. I'm proud of the population reduction episode from last season. I'm proud of being in that water episode. It's all true. They have to fact check every bit of that. They've had a few episodes about mind control because, that's admitted, but then they go off into things they can't prove. The network decides, hey, you're doing a show about Plum Island and bioweapons labs all over the country. Locals think, weird animals are floating up, add that into it. There's a few things that are sensationalistic just because I think some of the people involved in the show are just trying to learn and understand it. But I'll tell you, You know, the water episode, the JFK, the FEMA, the global warming, the population reduction, the BP special, the oil spill special coming up tomorrow night, or 2 nights from now, Friday night. The Pentagon strike coming out. That's the last episode next week. I mean, who knows if that'll even make it to air. So here it is. And you really read this. And he doesn't ever really get into the fact that he put pressure on them from behind the scenes. He goes on to say, TBS and Time Warner have a moral and civic responsibility not to disseminate information they know to be false. They know to be false. He just makes declaratory statements, particularly when it is dressed up to appear as an investigative reporting. Should someone get hurt, that's how we got to take your free speech. Somebody could be hurt. Should someone get hurt as a result of this unsubstantiated programming, the media will be undeniably held responsible. So see, he's trying, I mean, this is pure ADL for it. And I would hate to see someone get hurt as a result of callously airing lazy, irresponsible, and fear-mongering programming. The media must take personal responsibility when airing what they purport to be fact, and we must take the responsibility to hold them accountable when they fall dangerously short. You hear those threats? Can you imagine what else went on behind the scenes? So this guy, these people are so dangerous. I mean, they just openly don't want us to talk about all the urban warfare drills, the threat fusion centers admittedly grabbing all our credit card data in real time, committing crimes. The MIAC Homeland Security reports, 95% of it, Janet Napolitano admits this, is focused on the American people. I mean, this is a bait and switch, folks. And they're taking this country over. They're putting telescreens up in the stores saying, spy on your neighbors. They're taking over our society, and they want us to go along with it. We have got to say no, and people have got to stand up against people like this congressman and the ADL and others that are trying to restrict free speech in this country. It's un-American, and it's dangerous. You know, if Mr. Cohen has got proof something is inaccurate, why doesn't he talk about it? He just makes these big statements. And you know what, pal? You're a public figure. You introduced a bill for the establishment of emergency FEMA camps in this country. And it says, for whatever purposes you wish. And then we've been to those bases where they do drills of arresting Americans. So don't give me that baloney. It is so frustrating to be informed and to know this guy is counting on people not being informed. You know, in the piece they even say, oh, Cohen probably didn't even read the bill. You know, they get lots of bills from lobbyists. They even try to give the guy a way out. Like, oh, he didn't know what he was doing. Well, what does this look like right here? I mean, is that not tyranny? Saying, oh, if something bad happens, it's going to be your fault. That's what political correctness is. That's why they say, oh, you can't criticize a group. You can't read Bible verses. In Canada, they arrest preachers up there that criticize a group because somebody might hear it and do something violent. Meanwhile, the state is gearing up for war against the people and engage in all sorts of violence against us.